Ooh, I'm dark. Let me get some better lighting, guys. This is darker than I thought. Much better. I was in the cave for a bit there. So so yeah, they're it's unfortunate. So we'll see if our friends can join. They're caught in a meeting, but it's going later than expected. So but it's great to have all of our friends here. So oops, I just got a message from one of them. Let's see let's see what happens. Our lives are always like, disaster areas, which is why. So yeah, very cool. Just want to thank everybody for sharing a lot of different stuff that they find. And well, some of the topics that we were going to play with tonight, and definitely cool. Want to hear from Loved How I Know. The lives are I was trying to figure out how to get StreamYard to Rumble. So normally you can just they have this little tabs and you just say, I want to go to Twitch or whatever, but they don't have Rumble on there. And I'm sure it's on purpose. And so, yeah, trying to find that. And they're just like, it's like, you have to like put in a bunch of different, I'm going to have to play with that because it's like, you need a degree from MIT to figure out how to do that. It's insane. But all of these tech stuff is like way out of my, not interested, number one. It's like, oh my God, but cool. So I'm actually going to throw questions out to you, our audience, our friends here. We have, we have Dennis. I know some people. Rocky Mountain. Yeah, we know Rocky Mountain. She's out there hanging. Dennis. Oh yeah. What I find interesting about what's actually happening right now. So, Raya, awesome there. Yeah. We're waiting for our friends. They're stuck in a meeting, so I don't know if they're ever going to get out. But all right, cool. The folks are coming on. Some of these people I don't know who they are. They're new. So hello, Venomous. Great name. I like that. Okay. What I find very curious about the current situation that's going on, and it's like you kind of wonder. Oh, hello, and yeah, Mai is here. With all these different people having all their own perspectives, so there's basically like 50 or 60 or more different perspectives on like one topic. So for me, I guess as an academic and a kind of an analytical thinker, I find that difficult because it's kind of like, how can you have all of these people with all of these different perspectives on one topic and almost nobody overlaps and we're all in the dark? And this is something within our arena that's been going on now for, I don't know, at least since the 50s. Hello from London. Yeah. Oh, Jean's here. Dennis, Jean. Oh, yeah, Radislav. Oh my God, what time is it there? You're like my friend Louise. You're up till like 1 or 2 in the morning. We have London here. It's just such a stew pot. And I think it's ever since the days of Howard Menger and Adamski and all these different people that were doing their thing, even Billy Meyer, is just, you can't make heads or tails of anything. And we've been running in, it almost feels like that kind of hamster wheel situation where we've been running in circles, since, those times, really, the 50s. And nothing's really changed. Ultimately, it's still a mist. I'm curious to hear, people's perspectives, what they've thought about this, how it's affected them, and how they navigate this. I get to meet with so many of you, during the week when we chat, and it's like, it's just, people telling their life experiences, what's happened to them, things they've seen, and it's everyone has the same question, you know, even though you see things and you experience things, it's so out of touch with your daily life. It's so out of touch with the reality we're being fed. If we're even being fed this reality, you know, like, is this the reality? I don't know. um Another, I try to look at it as like, well, maybe we could look at time as a book. So if you have a book in front of you, like a book, right? The entire book exists. It's in the publication, right? You've got the beginning of the book, the middle of the book, and the end of the book. It's all there. So you can read the ending before you read the beginning. You could open up the book to the middle and read the middle. You could read the ending and then go read the beginning to find out, you know, where the book goes. And it's kind of, I suspect, what reality is when we look at things in terms of there not being time. So, like, how does that even make any sense? How can you be like, how can there not be time when everything we do is timed? I mean, even the daylight is timed. So there's that rhythmic cycle of daytime, nighttime, daytime, nighttime. It's such a, there's a sense of dichotomy at the same time, and you're kind of caught between a spoken reality, which, let's just say, there's no time, and everything as a book, right? Already there. The book is the whole, but there's still a past, present, and the future in the book, and you can flip through the past, present, and the future while you're reading the book. So yeah, Danis, the time is exhausting. It's not. I mean, I think for us, you're constantly living different lives. Like, there's the life that we're talking about now, where we question this kind of stuff, and then there's your daytime life. Now I don't work anymore, so I don't have that. That's not a big issue where you have like a class to teach at a certain time. So I have to really, I'm so happy I'm away from that, because that was like eating me up. So we have Joanna. It's our like duality of existence, where, like I said, you know, you sit and you think about stuff that we talk about and think about together, but then you have to go out into the world and you're bombarded constantly with that reality where time exists, right? Where bills exist, where you take out the garbage, where you have to cook dinner, where you have to wash clothes, where you have to dust if you feel like it. It's like, it's just like, and you do that day after day after day. And I know a lot of folks are like, because I've been chatting with a lot of different people, and we're all kind of coming across with the same concepts, where it's like, you know, when does this end? It's like, so some folks are, yeah, here's Gene. Yeah, I have no love. Yeah, I don't either. So yes, however, it flows better when we can observe and abide by nature. Oh yeah, that's for sure on this one. Yeah, and we have venomous. Unfortunately, on this plane, time is everyone's boss. Well, they want it to be, you know, and that's the thing. That's she was Razzle was clean today. That I think we're going to get into that. You have a bunch of people that are creating this. Like, they don't even, and I can't even say creating. I think that's too strong a word. They're just like a stick in a stream. They're just floating downstream. They never, just like a stick in a raging current. The stick does nothing but float down the current. And there's a good thing about that, right? Because you're going with the flow, I suppose. But then there's a double side to that, where, you know, the stick is in an out of control situation. It's not creating anything. It's not resisting anything. It's just going with the flow. And your average, this is something that, like, I want to kind of build on tonight and run by you guys. Yeah. Oh, Jeff is driving 3-hour drive home. Safe. Yeah. He's in a beautiful area up there. I know. Tell us if you see any Bigfoots, Spencer. And that's where, okay, your average person on this planet, Because if you look at our community, it's a small community. I don't know, you see somebody with 200,000 subscribers. That's not a whole lot. I mean, there's people up there out on their YouTube that are, millions, 5 million subscribers, so when you look at our whole, it's a small percentage of society, and that's concerning, and yet maybe not. So when you have the vast majority of a population, which is what we have here on this planet, that are completely unaware of what we're talking about, and they simply accept something like time, excuse me, they just simply accept life. They accept going to school, they accept getting a job, they accept working 40-hour a week. It's most disconcerting, where I don't know how far our attempts are actually reaching folks. Surviving, well, that's the whole thing, is the surviving, not thriving, because as long as the survival perspective, as long as the reality of survival is still being implemented, how are you going to create a thriving community when it's getting worse for most people, where they're having a hard time just maintaining the basic necessities of roof, food, you name it, right? I don't see I could be completely wrong, and I'll throw it out to you guys. I don't see any major changes in our environment, in the economic structure, where people are experiencing a better quality standard of living. If anything, it seems to be going in the opposite direction. I'll throw that out there to you guys. So we have, just start. You might have to Starseed Bunker. I would start to practice. Oh, here's Linda. You might want to start. Actually, Patrick and I have been playing around with survival stuff, like starting fires, and we're like, if shit hits the fan, so we have happiness, meaning, indifference, anything weird. Yeah. So yeah, I mean. So we pull Linda up. Hello, Linda.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah, we're just gonna wait for Evan. I don't know. Let me check and see what Evan's.
He should be any minute. That call just ended that we were both on. So, yeah.
Let's see. All right. Yeah, he seems to be okay. I was wondering if he had a hard time getting on or anything. So, we were actually here. You can see. No, you can't see the chat. You have to pull it up on your other device. But
yeah. Oh, yeah. My other device.
Yeah, and I know.
I forgot about that. That's what I did last time.
Yeah, they were on a Dave Rossi call that ran over. But just to give you a example where I've created some questions just to kind of give us some place to go, and to throw questions out for all of our friends here in the chat to share their thoughts and perspectives. And so one of the things that we just were throwing around there, chewing the fat, as they say, stick this in your pipe and smoke it type of stuff. How are we going to change or remedy society when it seems like, and I'm just throwing it out there, the standard of living is actually getting more difficult, and is still cemented as a challenge for people. And then people talk about things are better. Like, are they? I mean, I don't suspect they. I don't really. I still see people living in lack. I still see people.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about time. I still see people working their life away in jobs that are not. Absolutely. And I just don't see all the happy camper stuff. Right. Where is Jesse? Oh, Radislav. Jesse, he's in bed. It's dark here. He's on the rocking chair. He's in bed. So we were just like I just mentioned, I don't know, I'm gonna run it by you because you're into all this. I said, the idea of there being no sense of time, right? The idea of time as being now the past, present, future is all happening, right? And right. I said, you could probably look at that as a book, right? Like a book that you're reading, a novel, right? So in this novel, in this entire book, you have the beginning of the novel, you have the middle of the novel, and you have the conclusion, the end of the novel, all there at the same time. So you could flip to the end of the book to see what happens. You could run through the middle, or you could read the front. And you can read that book at kind of anywhere you want. But the entire past, present, and future of whatever is in that novel exists in the whole.
Right.
So how do we transition or bring concepts like no time into our reality, which is so structured and so locked into these narrow frameworks, which don't seem to be changing for the average person?
That is a really good question, because for the average person, they are so locked into the matrix, into their lifestyle that they're in. And that's why it's so subjective as to, whether you're doing well or whether you're not doing well, whether you view society as doing well or not. It's so subjective. So until more people have the same experience collectively, it's really hard to bring people into this idea, and to sort of help them understand what it's like to not have that always thinking about time. As get rid of that concept. It's hard to do. I do it because every day I go to a job. I have to be there at a certain time. But what I try to do is I don't have and I'm not saying that everybody should do this. This is just what I do. Right. I don't have an alarm clock. I don't make myself get up with an alarm clock. Now, I know not everybody can do this, but I had to work my way to this. I didn't just do it overnight. But at some point, I just said, I'm not going to use an alarm clock anymore because I don't want to be tied to time.
Right.
And then what happened was I ended up getting a job where it wasn't like I had to be, because I had changed my mindset about time. It freed me to have a new experience where I didn't have to be tied to it as structurally as most people do. So that's just me. But anyway, hi, Evan.
Oh, how's it going, Linda?
Good.
Andrea,
I just
how you
saw
guys
you.
doing? Oh yeah, it's like we were
I
just
just
hanging
pulled
out a
Evan up.
second ago.
Long time no see.
Unity as unite as beings. Yeah, that's that. Well, John made it. I mean, we're trying to unite as beings. That's going to lead into one of the other questions I'm going to throw out there to all y'all in a bit. But just to catch Evan up to where we are. So, Evan, we're talking about the concepts of
hi, everybody.
Yeah. So I've described like the idea that there's no time, that everything's happening at the same time, and so everything exists, right? But then there's a huge chasm and dichotomy, because for everybody, well, most people, not everybody, on this planet, time is a real part of their life. It has a real impact on their life. And how can we change or bridge or get them out of this constant hamster wheel of life? Because most people, as I said, because there's survival issues, they're tied to lack, they're tied to struggle, they're tied to all these things. I just want to throw that out to Linda, was just talking about what she's been doing. I'm like you, Linda. I'm just because I grew up in a more natural place. We always had animals, so
Right.
I never had an alarm clock either. I naturally get up very early.
Right.
So I actually get up before I have an alarm clock now. His name is Jesse.
Yes. I was just thinking that.
I'm waiting for him to get up because he's been crowing later now because it works with the sunlight. So I actually do the same. I actually work with the hours of the sun. So I'm up before him usually, and I'm just waiting for him to start doo-doo-doo in the morning.
There's an echo in the background, I think, when you're talking.
Me?
Yes. Somebody's saying it in the chat.
Is
it me?
Is it me?
No, it's Linda.
It's me?
It's Linda.
Why is it me? I'm using a mic.
I think if you're using a mic, that's the problem. I wonder.
Huh.
Because we had a similar issue with Rebecca. I don't know what kind of technology
Okay.
she had for
Let
some.
me change my mic. It is me then. Hold on. Sorry.
No worries. There's some
Well,
force
I got it. So I was discussing this earlier on the first get together I was having, where
Yeah, that's where I kind of got the idea. That's it.
somebody was saying about what he asked me what time space was versus space time, and I think
Right.
just even having the opening to be aware of it as a functionality, never mind like a physical thing that you can visit, possibly, I think is super important. Like space time meet suit land to like astral interactivity, I believe is a good spot. But I didn't mean to cut um, potentials off.
Oh no, Linda's
Oh
fixing
no,
Linda's fixing her mic. Yeah.
it's all good. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, no, man.
I don't have an echo now.
No echo?
Nope. Let's
Okay,
see.
good. Then
How
it
we
was my
do-
mic.
how we do it. It's some.
I'm trying to find the thingy.
Okay. Yeah, there's some weird device because it happened to Rebecca and we couldn't figure it out, and we end up not doing a live, which was disappointing. So, well, Vincent said, and yeah, totally, Evan, and I guess in one of our dilemmas is that how do we get that kind of thinking to the general public, because it's not reaching billions of people. And I think so. Vincent says, if so many beings upstairs have different agendas and can't agree on a final solution, then it will always be a hodgepodge of differing ideas affecting society. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, because we're not seeing anything, and I'm not saying that it is or isn't working, and that things aren't happening behind the scenes. Who knows? And that's part of the problem. Like, we don't know what's actually happening. But yeah, it's a soup pot of people adding their own spices in, and
The way that I get a grab on it is that
yeah,
there's a Andrea in time space, there's a Linda in time space, and there's an Evan in time space, and we can interact on whatever energetic level we're comfortable doing.
yeah.
I don't think there's a limit per se, but
No, there isn't. Well, I think we're saying, well, how are we supposed to, like, how are we going to change? Ultimately, I think the goal is to improve the overall society here for the majority of people. But how do we even begin to move forward with some of these concepts?
that's a good question. Well, if everybody has their own like kind of unique magic book to write, then like how would you spur everybody into like, all right, developing what style of book you're going to be using first, or what appeals, I would say, would be a baseline start point for me. But maybe yours would be different, and like I would appreciate that hopefully too, like same approach.
Yeah. And that's cool, because that's kind of what I was gonna bring up as a later question. But then you got, like, yeah, that can work, but then it's like, how do you create a semi-cohesiveness in the society where it's like, say one person wants to do a 60-hour a week at a job that they hate, and they're into all the survivalism and all that stuff, but then somebody else wants to live a life that's more zen. Well, how are you gonna? I think let's just say, for example, somewhere like Arcturus, the Ohori, on our Korean society, where they're kind of on the same page. Even on the Pleiades, when you're all people are living their own lives and they're all on their own page, but there's a overarching concept in the society where people all agree to the fact that their needs are met, that kind of
Well, I think the possibility for that from where we are today, like, would exist, and there would be one social structure wherein like you enjoy working your 60 hours, whatever, making sprockets, and then
thing.
you go home and you plug into your ultimate best PlayStation 9000 or whatever, and then it's fully immersive until your next meal or whatever it is breaks you. Versus the other path, I would say would be like you choose to work a little bit helping something that helps the whole community, the Unity community, and then you, after the whatever allotment of time that you've decided, you go and chill with your pet, and then you go and work on your science project maybe, and then talk with people after. Like that would be the two, both completely valid options, but I think definitely a dichotomy there, or at least a polarity of like what the purpose would be for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, no, I know. That's the Linda. How are we doing for sound?
I think you're still echoing.
See, I wasn't echoing until Evan came on.
Oh, is it me? Oh, I can bomb out and come back in if you want. That's
You're
cool.
not echoing.
Oh, it might be the
Yeah, I sound
my
like I'm in a
biofield.
spaceship. I don't know. I wasn't echoing until.
You're not now.
Okay, I'm not now.
It
No.
might be your proximity to your microphone.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I think
we've never had that before, but now we have something new. So
now you're not echoing.
now I'm
you're
not.
good.
That is so weird. Okay, that's just plain. I missed some of the. Radislavia, if the cabal figured out how to brainwash people, maybe we need to use similar methods. Well, we're trying. No, now I guess we're okay. Anybody hear the echo?
It's kind of hard to tell.
I
talking.
don't hear it.
Keep talking, Andrea.
Am I echoing a little bit? That's weird.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
I've
I don't
never.
know.
That is so weird.
It is
No,
weird.
Riot said it's okay now.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't hear it. That's weird.
Okay. Well, anyway, back to our conversation.
I'll just stay close. That's so weird.
Yeah, stay closer, baby. I feel like we were just on this call, Evan and I, we were talking about manifestation, right? And collective consciousness. That was one of the questions, right, on that call. Yeah. So I think that that's partly what it is, with everybody kind of having to, in a way, the more that we work towards all coming together and agreeing that this is what we want as a reality, the faster it's going to happen. And there's going to be some people that aren't going to agree with it, and that's fine. They'll just live their life, whatever they're doing. But at least we'll be able to do what we want to do as a group. And that's the way I look at it. So coming together in groups of people that want to do the same thing, I feel like is really important. Yeah. Or even just if you want to do it on your own, and you can do it on your own, then do it, But trying to expect the entire world to do the same thing at the same time, I think that's a little unrealistic.
So we have actually here's a link in here. It says Radislav, the societies have been centralized and people's minds have been centralized too, so now they need to be decentralized. That's see, this is the thing, I guess. If you have a world, let's just say Earth, right, and everyone's doing their own thing, which is kind of what we're doing now, you're always going to have the possibility of discord. Whereas if you have a world like Arcturus, really, but even like Era, where everybody's their own person, but they're all on the same page.
Right. Because they all want the same thing.
Right. So if you have a world where you have individuals that are, let's say, greedy or violent, or like, you're always going to have like what we have now, where you're going to have peaceable people who are on the same page of, hey, let's all get along. I don't need a big fat mansion. I can just be happy with a little house as long as we all have what we need, but not in a communistic sense, in a like a family sense, the way you run your family, right? So
Yeah.
like, you wouldn't steal from your mother and father. You don't steal from your sister. They don't steal from you.
Right.
It's like, it's more of a basic, like,
A communal thing, like a
right.
community. Yeah.
But I don't know how you can create a tiered society where everybody's doing their own thing, because eventually you're going to have a sectarian situation, which is what you see now.
Yeah, I think it's hard because if you go back to the source of what decentralized it to begin with, or what centralized it, what made us this way, or made humanity this way, it was a specific group of elite people that have a hold on it. And then they programmed people to behave and believe a certain way. And so you have to kind of dismantle that first, don't you? Don't you have to get rid of that system before you can create a new one and have more and have people? I mean, I do agree. You have to know what you want in advance before you dismantle it. You have to kind of have a vision of what you want to see. And nobody's really talked about that. What are the details of what you want to see? They would say, "Oh, be the change that you want to see in the world." Well, what if that change that you want to see in the world is, not a good one?
That's all cabal. All that, you can tell all that stuff is cabal, because there's no way anybody has it. Well, and I think, Linda, you just made the point. The hegemony. I'm echoing again. The hegemony. Now it's gone. The hegemony doesn't want you to have a say. So that's still in place. So, and it goes back to what Evan was saying. How can you have a society that's all on the same page? Because then you're cutting out free will.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because some people may want a bigger house. Some people may not care. It's, what are you going to do? You can't make everybody live in the exact same type of house. And you know what I mean? As long as you're not, like you said, as long as you're not stealing from the other people to get what you have, that's the point. Don't be greedy.
What I'd argue also to then, I think maybe my mic is making an echo for hopefully.
No, yours is fine. No, really.
I'd argue to the point, and I think I made it on the call just before too, like the upside for the team harmony and with nature would be like, and or awareness fractal outspread fluffy would be like our knowing this, like in helping other people know it too, like is a value of itself, where where if the dollar collapsed, it will.
Evan's dog.
He hasn't said anything for like 3 hours, and then all of a sudden I'm live and and talking to you guys, and he needs to chime in. I'll say, well, he said hi.
He's
hi, Alpha.
I think the value after, if the dollar collapses, like intrinsically, like the stuff that we're doing and or talking about, like there's instantly like, hey, like it's not total bleak turn to the T1000 to fix our duties or our woes. Like we can do this, like, and band together. But I'll mute because my pooch is still talking about it.
He's so cute. No, he's great. He's the best. We have some stuff from folks to community again, not competition. Yeah, absolutely. Rocky Mountain, that's the whole derp aspect of it. Sadly, there's very few people, and it's not, I don't think it's their fault. I think it's just because they live in such a dog eat dog world. No, I'm making a joke, fluff, but
they're in the mode of survival. They're in survival mode.
How are you going to shift? Well, as long as we maintain survival mentality and survival reality,
right?
How are you going to move from competition to community? Because it's like, to me, it almost feels like one of those weird situations where it's like, how do you get to here? I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, people need to learn that it's okay to do things differently. Well, good. We've been like they're shooting each other.
Operate outside of scarcity and mentality is like the
I mean, it's easy to say, but if you're in a inner city apartment with no opportunity and no car and you're hand to mouth, and how are you going to make ends meet? And it's
I see that. Oh no, I totally agree.
I
Like
know, it's like,
you gotta abandon shop and hoof it to one of these nature communities in the sticks. You're like, well, all
Yeah.
right, maybe the a carbon-based pill and the VR headset isn't so bad of an option. Like, no, it's worth the hike. Like, really, like,
Yes, totally.
yeah. There are people who are in those, I'm not in that, and that's the thing. I think the Terrans need to understand is you have to be able to look at other people's perspectives and other people's situations. So I'm in a situation where I'm gonna go live in the woods. I'm gonna disappear and live, because I'm no. This is gonna be my way of saying, like, I don't agree with the society, and I'm not trying to like forcibly change it. But I'm not gonna be compelled and forced through violence, which may actually probably happen. Who knows where we're going? But I'm just my whole life I've always felt like pressured by, like, you have to be like us. You have to do what we tell you to do, And in our society, there's actually violence that's pressed upon people who don't do that.
Yes.
So I don't, is that change? In England right now, they have the digital ID that people are fighting and resisting. Okay, that's good. So communities, oh shoot, darn it. I was going to just read some of the comments here because folks,
there's some good ones in here. Somebody's saying we need a quantum leap.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Rostislav says we need a quantum leap.
We need help. I mean, that ultimately that's the thing. I don't think we can do this alone. I mean, I think technically we could do this alone, but it's not going to work that way. It's just, people need to learn that it's okay to do things differently using the mind, not following instructions. But that's what schools brainwash them and program them to do. So we have such an entrenched, psychotic, dangerous system. It's mind numbing, So Leah here. Communities can be dissolved into world systems of peace, greed, etc. So if one wants greed, go to visit a world of greed, and you're in one. And if one wants peace, go to a world of peace. Well, and I think you meant exactly. I mean, this is the problem, though. It's like we're in lockdown. We can't leave this planet, and that's, I think, a great answer, which is something I'm going to lead into with our one of the later questions. Is why don't they just let us go? Why don't they allow those like us, probably, who aren't jiving with this planet? So instead of like forcing us to give up who we are and forcing the other side to change who they are, just open the gate and let us go. That's, I don't know. Anyway,
I feel like they're not done with us yet.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
They're not going to be done.
They're not done using us yet, so they're not going to let us go.
They're going to kill us is what they're going to try. So venomous, even if the fiat currency system is gone tomorrow, people will still have the same thoughts. And exactly. They're going to,
because it says, like Rocky Mountain says, Terrans have been conditioned to so long to strive always for more. They've been conditioned.
Yes, exactly.
That's the whole point. It's brainwashing at its finest.
And there we go. So what do?
Unbrainwash. That's kind of what we're trying to do, right? We try to unbrainwash people.
But we have such a small reach because, well, derp, they don't want us to have a big reach, obviously, because we're dismantling the system that they don't want to dismantle. So that leads us to other things where people are saying, oh, the current politics all over here or there, the great, leaders are all in it to save us and change the system. It's like, well, I don't see that actually existing.
Well, that was just on the call too. They brought up the point of like even how many people watch CNN really versus like if you really wanted, like, say, a list of names to come out, like for it coming out on CNN versus it coming out on mega huge podcaster X, like the second option is probably people are going to believe it and or be more liable to track down what's going on with it. Like the larger picture being like the people don't necessarily trust where all the money information is coming from that I see anymore.
Oh yeah, totally. I don't think people trust any information, period. I mean, how can you? You know, we have
Trust
venom.
yourself. Trust
Yeah.
the information that you feel your gut
Yeah.
is valid is really the only thing that I would say.
And then that goes back, loops back to where we were. It's like, how can you live in a society where everybody's lying? How can you live in?
You will
Yeah.
stop lying. Like, imagine that was another point that I made on the first call was like, if baseline we go back to telepathy, that would be awesome. Like, also that would get rid of
Yeah,
lying, and then like
yeah,
the only
absolutely. Yeah, because you would know everybody's intent immediately. You would-
people that weren't down with that and or like would probably opt into the VR mode would just be like, oh, no lying, huh? Well, gosh, we're not down with that. That's not cool. Like, wait, why?
Yeah.
Like, what is there to
What are you trying to
lie
hide?
about?
Yeah. Yes,
And
the
then
only people who don't want telepathy are the people who are trying to hide something.
right.
You know,
But the
why do
lying,
you need privacy?
yeah, the lying goes back to the original problem, which is why would you lie, right? So the reason someone
Exactly.
is because they want something, right? It goes back to the lack and the greed thing. If I feel like, oh, I gotta lie to do something because it's going to get me attention, or it's going to get me some money, or it's going to get me whatever. I mean, that's we're all looping back to the lack and the ego. Everybody's always going to have an ego, but it's like it's and I think again it's that is this as you know, Terrans have been conditioned, as we have here right in the chat, for so long to strive always for more. And I like, how do you, I don't know, like I don't and venomous people need to do their research to expand their knowledge of which expands they're not going to do it. They need to do it, but they're not. That's right.
Well, that's why we're here. We're doing the research, and then we're
And
you
we're
know expressing it to people. But it's like this. There's another comment here. Free energy would be a great start, taking a huge financial burden away. And yes, it would. But how are you gonna do that when they're still in control and they don't want that? You know.
exactly.
So we have to get rid of that system. Really, the answer is to get rid of the current system in order to be able to do any of these things that we're talking about.
Well, to that point, oh, I was gonna say as a yes and to that point, like even putting out like I'm gonna put out like 7 different things that you could do, 7 different approaches to generate enough to lay a battery. And cool, like you know, to get that out to people first is one thing, and to have the willingness to do it is another, which there's very limited people. But then to be able to put it out and then still have access to communicate with people after, like i.e. not get banned for putting it out is the barrier now.
Right.
Versus like even knowing it's real, which is the main general population hurdle that I see. As even then, now I would say more people accept some baseline like lighter size whatever as maybe possible versus 10 years ago. Like, no way, they would tell us about that right away. That would be, everybody would have one in their pocket. Like, wait, nobody would have a bill to pay anymore. Like, oh, nobody would have one in their pocket. Wait a minute, that makes sense. Okay.
Well, Ashton has made really large strides in like letting people know that free energy exists and putting the information out there. So that's been very helpful within the past, I guess, year, really. And if it keeps happening like this, and more and more people are putting it out there, which if you go on TikTok and if you go on Instagram, you see a lot more, especially if you put it in your own algorithm. That's what you got to do, people. Put it in your algorithm. You're going to find a lot more of that. You know, start watching those videos and you're going to get more of it, and you'll see it. It's out there. And you know, that's the thing. We just have to keep doing this. We have to keep making these videos.
Propaganda. Dennis says propaganda, manipulation, create patterns. It's I almost think it's in the DNA at this point, you know.
Well, the propaganda part is like also if they use it in terms for like the national security language, so it's a energy secret if you figure out beyond movement X, or like the like Ashton pointed out, the plasma confinement cell is whatever sigma 11. So like, and he's like, cool, you used whatever time crystals and made a fucking battery out of them. Good job. And it's ours. And if you tell anybody, we have the right to kill you and your grandparents. Like, no,
Right.
wait, what? Like,
and
you're
your
lucky you're
children.
alive. Yeah, you're like, you're lucky you're alive. Like, keep your mouth shut. Like,
Well, and not just
why
that,
is this
but
real?
but even putting it out there on social media, you're violating community standards, whatever those are. I don't even, you read them and it's like, this is nothing of what I did. Like, I didn't violate anything. Like, what the heck? And I keep getting those, like, you violated community standards. And I'm like, well, oh, well, I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And you got to do it. You just got to be a rebel. That's all I could say.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, if everything's so wonderful and everything's moving in the right direction, then why is that still happening?
Why is that still there? Right.
Because I haven't had any here. Actually, I was talking to a friend today, and she was like, Linda Moulton Howe, and I know James Ring told me, and my channel, she says, you guys haven't had a single movement in subscriptions for she says, Linda Moulton Howe hasn't had a single budge in her numbers of subscribers for a year. And James Rink was telling me the same thing. He's like, I haven't had a move in subscribers for 6 months.
Wow.
Well, they manipulate everything, and it's just that why is that still happening? Why?
Yeah.
And like we were just saying, if the three of us here, all of us, and our friends in the chat, if we all got together, right? Let's just say we all made a society. So everybody in the chat, all of us here, right? We all bought a town. And we all are living off of free energy, and we found all these amazing natural cures, and we were living like that. Would we all be attacked? Would we be allowed to live as we are? So the suppression, that there's an open and aggressive suppression.
I honestly think if the dollar collapsed and there was like a bunch of groups, all different little groups that all did it at once at that or previous to that happening, just barely, nowish, probably started setting it up, it probably would be a safe bet. I think that's why all the cracks in the dam are showing. Somebody made a point, a few people made a point where if you even discuss half the stuff that we have so far, even just tonight, before, you would get shut down for sure. Somebody would knock on your door. Sure. Now it's to the point where unless you have a plasma generator, you're showing it on YouTube and selling it, then maybe they knock on your door, maybe. But outside of that, I think it's gates, gloves off.
I think it is. I agree with you on that. Yep. I totally 100%. Evan. It is a little bit easier now, as opposed to a year or 2 years ago, to be able to put stuff out there about this. Also, I feel like in small communities out in the middle of nowhere, as long as you didn't go on YouTube or a bunch of and promote it, you'd probably be okay.
Yeah.
If you just lived like the Amish or whatever, they'd be fine with you. But if you went around and if you did that and then you started making a big deal about it and showing it, on, the social media, all the social media sites, then you might have a problem. Then they might try to shut you down or do something. Black helicopters would fly and whatever.
Well, well, that's the thing. Like Linda's saying here, well, who are they and why are they controlling us? Who are they?
It depends on what do you, all right, Andrea, you got a healing bed at your house, then probably the doctors hired the black team to come in radio, oh, Linda, you have a thing that makes water out of the air, then I would guess that there's some Nestle water company that's going to come and kick it in all of a sudden. They're oh, cool, I got a solar panel that lasts whatever 2,000 years and it looks like a rock. Oh, look at that, the power company just dropped my service and smashed my car in or something. I don't want any of that to happen, but it would be I think it's relative to
I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not going to say who it is because the last time I did that, I got a brick through my window.
Well,
So
that's the
you
thing.
know I'm not going to say who it is.
Well, that's the thing. How are we supposed to progress or change anything or do anything if the majority of people don't even know any of this that we're talking about, which is the truth? Billions of people have no idea. You have a mafia running around.
Yeah.
Is anyone is there anyone out there that is helping us? Because I don't see how we can possibly like there. Yes, there are ways that we can do things, but it's going to take forever. And is there anybody there that's going to assist us? And it could get a lot. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the coming years. It could get a lot worse because these mafias could create more of a problem. And let's see.
Well, if you look at the last reset, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way to do it. Like, what did they have to do to come back from that? You know, what did people actually have to do?
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy.
No.
You know, they call them pioneers or whatever, but they were excavators basically. And then, you know, of course the mafia or whatever you want to call them came in and took over, you know, everything, took over all of the, you know, started all of the institutions that we have today, all of the wonderful institutions that we have today. Right.
We have a so this person here, no
Our founding
way.
fathers.
Yeah, no, oh yeah, no way. I think a lot of these issues will be solved when the deep state gets defeated. Yeah, well, wait, exactly. Who is helping? I mean, they won't be putting so many sticks in the wheels all the time. That's it, and this is what we're trying to say. Like, how are we supposed to get rid of these people? When your average person supports them, they think that there's such things like liberty. They think they really get to vote. They think that all of the institutions of the industrial military complex are there to help you. Like, oh, you know, it's the same.
They're really blind still. A lot of them are still blind. And we were just talking about the last call, like, you know, no, don't write a really well-written letter to your congressman. It's not going to do anything.
Right.
It's not going to do shit.
Exactly.
You can get as mad as you want and write a really well-written letter to they don't care. They're in on it. Okay.
Well, even if they are, let's just say there's a politician.
The people above them are in on it. I mean, they're not. They have no control.
The whole system has been made to make them in on it financially.
Yes, exactly. They don't have a choice. They don't want to be in on it. Maybe some of them, but they have to be. If that's their job. If you're a football player, you're going to have to run on a field and get tackled. I mean, that's just what happens.
Yeah.
You know, you chose to be the football player.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to do.
It's I don't know. Like I said, I don't, you know, I'll move on to another question because I don't think we're ever going to, I mean, it's just, whatever is going to happen here. I have no idea. It's just bullshit at this point. So far you got the 3-eye atlas. It's a Pleiadians, it's Anunnaki, it's reptilians, it's a couple of Jedi Star Wars actors. It's like, what else do they say it is?
What's your read on that? I got a thing that said, or I saw something from NASA that announced.
Oh, NASA, the Nazis, yeah.
Yeah, take it for what it's worth.
Nazis.
But anyway, it said it's
Project Paperclip Rocket.
Oh, I know about
Lyrans. Somebody says Lyrans, right? Yeah.
But the thing that I read about it was that it went from 40 to 80 meters, and what do you get first? I don't know if you've eyeballed it, like.
Well, here's my perspective. Anything that's being shown to you by any of these groups is bullshit.
Well, did you check it out? Like, it's saying it's just a rock. I meant, like, have you put the astral radar to it?
Here's my take on it. So anything we're being shown is bullshit. Number one, that's my take. So obviously, Project Paperclip, otherwise known as NASA, is fucking bullshit. I forget what I say is YouTube. Anything they show you. So here's the deal. None of us can actually have the equipment to actually see anything. So when I don't know, some of our can go on YouTube, but when they show you pictures of Mars, when they show you pictures of space, it's all fucking like Disneyland. All right. It doesn't look like that. Evan and you and I went to Mars. I mean, it is like Louise goes, she's been to Mars. Everything they show us is to maintain the narrative that there's nothing out there.
Yeah.
So they will fake all kinds of shit. So I guess I'm not going to spend a lot of time on 3. I think it's a waste of time to spend any time on it. It's just a clickbait story right now. So it's either nothing's going to happen, which is kind of where I'm leaning towards in the next couple of months, that literally nothing happens. Oh, it moved away. Or that
remember Nibiru in 2014?
Oh my God, it's such bullshit.
I think it's the same thing.
I agree. So they could try to pull, I mean, if let's just say hypothetically, there's a bunch of ETs that think we're cool and they actually want to help us, that may piss off the DS and they try to pull a blue beam. That's a possibility. My suspicion right now is this planet's under a lockdown, and we're basically, I don't know, sitting ducks. Like, I don't know if anybody's coming to help us, whatever.
I think we have to help ourselves, but like,
well,
I think
we just addressed some of the significant hurdles. Like, how do we help ourselves? You know, it's like we're basically in a greased up, coffee can trying to climb up the side. If somebody could just throw us a rope, my problem with some of that is like, sometimes in life you need help.
I want at least to let us, I'd say rather in that analogy that we have the capacity to just float right out, but like we're so distracted on like, what did Team Purple vote for? Like, no, Team Green is so angry about this. And then meanwhile, we don't see the big picture because we're so like tied up with.
We don't see the forest
BS.
for the trees. Yeah. We don't see the forest for the trees.
If other interstellar planets are interacting with each other, why are we the third? It doesn't make any sense. How can you have, you can't compare other races, species, and planets who are interacting with each other and sharing stuff, sharing information, sharing ways of being, sharing wisdom, sharing knowledge. And then you have this, like, the person who never gets invited to the party, us, to me, it almost feels like making fun of a homeless person. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
well, for that analogy, it would be like the person that we're getting to the party, like we're not even really acting like as a person yet. So like, would you invite the guy that like automatically punches everything and himself and the wall, like and can't help where it poops? Like, no, you're gonna want to invite the guy that's like got it together, well mannered, like in like a suit, like, which as a humanity, like I think we can do and definitely are going to. It's just a matter of like right now, like people with control of the money are like, no, punching yourself and uncontrollable pooping and like your face is like, that's normal. Like what do you mean that's not normal? Like, well, whereas like, oh, that's what's going on here. Why are people?
Yeah, I think somebody like that, it's sort of like a baby though. Like, you have to show them, like when you have a 2-year-old child, you don't go, oh, that 2-year-old child is weird and it craps in its pants and it's aggressive and it acts strange. You nurture them. You say, come, and you nurture. The same thing with an animal. I've retrained many horses that have been abused. And that's the thing with humanity. You have a race of beings who've been violently oppressed and abused and brainwashed and poisoned and tortured. They need social workers. They need help. They need to be cared.
But how do you get to those people when they've got, it's like the trafficked children. How do you get to the trafficked children when they're being controlled and like guarded by these horrible, mafia types? You have to get rid of the mafia types to be able to get to the children.
Exactly.
So that's what has to happen on this planet. They got to get rid of the assholes that are on the planet before they can help us.
Exactly. I mean, it's that's why I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but it's not anything. Like I don't see any like
You
Gene
don't
said.
see them getting rid of them.
Where's it? I mean, we're treated like second class citizens. Really, I mean, it's where's the proof, right? They babble stuff about you don't you need free will and you can control your own world. Blah blah. How the hell are you gonna do that? It's we're prisoners of war.
Well, what if
Yeah.
like actively feeding into that mindset leaves an opening for their negative energy to feed off of your
Exactly.
productivity?
That's what they're doing.
Well, yeah, being like that's bullcrap, but you don't have to operate in that biosphere is the first step, and like saying it's absolute truth that it applies to everybody would probably be where I disagree, but I'm not telling anybody what to believe also.
Yeah. We have to get rid of the mainstream media. That's a curiosity. I don't think a lot of people still watch it.
That's
It's
true.
lost a lot. So, but I totally agree though. I can't imagine why, if there's all these heroes in the alliance that are saving the day for us, why aren't they taking anything down? So,
Yeah, I don't know who's saving the day.
yeah,
I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, they're
I
all
think but we need to save the day, and somehow, I don't know how we're going to do it, but somehow we need to save the day.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Darcy
We have to take it upon ourselves to do it. We're
something
going to have to be the ones to do it. Yeah.
I'm seeing them a lot now. They're here and ready. Believe it or not, they are very emotional. They are very emotional people. They are nervous about it too. I honestly don't give a rat's ass about them. To be fair, anyone who does stuff behind my back and behind other people's backs, you lost my respect. So they can go suck an egg as far as I'm concerned. It's the end of yeah. It's the I don't know, right? I don't know. I will not apologize to Google. Oh yeah, no, hell no. Great question. Was it? Are we supposed to be nice still? No, no. When have we ever been nice? To who?
Nice to who?
I ain't gonna be nice to nobody. No way. No.
I mean, are you talking about each other? Yeah, but not them.
Not them. No, I don't. I'm basically kind of like pissed off about.
I'd say disengage, but like
Oh yeah, that's what I mean.
like.
Yeah.
But
I think that's the best thing.
Being nice, yeah. Like
I think but I mean disengage by like not being a part of their system. If there's any way you can possibly, like pull away from the system that is holding us down as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like for you. Like maybe don't buy their shit.
Yeah.
Try to find another way to do it where you're not dependent on their system anymore, whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah.
On all the levels, I'd say that agrees. Yeah, 100%.
It's just a challenge though for a lot of people who are just suffering right now, who are like forced to. I mean, we had the horse dentist out the other day, so it was cute. Her assistant is a trainer. And she's like, man, she says, I used to work in an office with engineers. She's like, yeah, I used to work at this engineering office. And she was like, oh my God, I'd come into work like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Nice to, create a friendly environment. And she says, they all be like, and she's like, oh, every single day was like, she worked there for 2 years. Wow. And she's like, I quit. She's like, I got the hell out of there. She says, it was such a dead. But that's your average person.
Yeah.
They're just like, they're fear-ridden. That's really where it comes from. Actually, by the way, I have my you people shirt on.
Well, I'd say also the level of like, everybody's probably going to come into that. And like, so like your awareness and or like feeding into it. Like I sometimes had paycheck jobs in the past where it was not the most ideal, but like going into it preset, like, oh, tonight's gonna suck, like, oh man, it's sucking, like, oh, I'm glad that suck fest is over, but tomorrow's gonna suck, like that mentality of it. Like even if you're kind of booty about the duties that you got, booty duty that you got to do, like it's like definitely on the mindset, like, oh man, may not be the awesomest, but My awareness of it is definitely not. I'm not as sour about it, at least now. Like something to be
Yeah.
good, happy. Like so that moves you up a little bit, like up the scale. Not quite like, oh boy, I can't wait to get into there and muckle on that turd. But like working there, like not that that's ever a goal anyway. But
Yeah. We have Tim. Well, I have to be nice, but people aren't cooperating, and that's yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that. Um, that's what I'm talking about. The system. I can only be nice to so long. Honestly, the struggle is getting old. Well, that's you know what's happening to a lot of people. But again, I don't know because these are the only people that that I'm a hermit, so I don't meet anybody other than clients. But then my clients are you guys, so it's like they're not the people out there. So it's just, but what I have heard is from a lot of people is that they've just basically like hanging by a thread, and there, I'm grateful and gratitude that I don't have to do anything like that. Um, but there's a lot of people that they have to pay a mortgage or they have to pay a rent, and it's like they're stuck. So I don't know. I don't have. I literally just don't have answers. I don't. So.
well, they're stuck and they're not stuck, right? If they're like the awareness of like, oh crap, I can learn. I'm gonna learn how to make a med bed, and then I'm gonna start. I'll have a spot in that sweet community, or like, oh
Yeah.
darn it, I want to know how to make one of those water makers or whatever. There's a few types that you can make. I think I don't know the recipes. Like sand is one. I think sand and silicone, but like there's various stuff for like that appeals to me. I think I'm gonna go down that versus I'm gonna watch 2 more seasons of Grey's Anatomy for the 58th time. Which,
Right.
again, nothing against those people if that's what they're
Goodness.
into, but
Yes, good point. Very good point. Like you're kind of wasting your time living in the matrix.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everybody does this. I mean, there's some people that have really hard lives where they've got kids they come home to, they work all day. They don't have extra time to do like, to look into maybe doing something else with their lives. And that's really tough. I mean, that's a really tough life to have. And so I see that. I see that a lot,
Yeah.
and I feel for people who are in that position because that's a really hard. How are you going to leave that situation? How do you get out of that
Well,
situation?
you can. I mean, you could. It's like but there's, and I think Evan and Evan, I'm totally on you. You can leave any situation you're in.
Mm-hmm.
You can leave. I mean, you could have kids and you could just walk away. Just like, you know what? This is it. I'm done. I'm going to go live my life. So it has to do with understanding about how much you feel that other people, that you owe your happiness and existence to somebody else. I think there's that. And I think because in this matrix system, people have been brainwashed to believe that sacrifice is good, and
Yes.
that you should
Hard
always
work.
right.
Hard work. Yeah, will
Believe
always get you ahead in life. If you work
right,
hard, you'll get ahead.
right.
Oh
So
man, what a
you
load of
don't
bull.
owe anything to anyone.
I think well culturally culturally I think it's American that is like work 98 hours a week. It's a good thing. Like just
Yeah,
keep
yeah, yeah.
grinding. Because I heard something recently about like Japan, I think, or one of the countries over there. Like, oh, they celebrate it like they want you to take time off and be rested. So like, oh, they if you're working so hard that you fall asleep at your desk, they're like, oh my god, that's amazing, like good job. Whereas like if you get fired or written up if you get caught fired sleeping at your job here, like over there they're like, oh great job man, take a day off, like
But
you
nobody
must
takes a day off there. In Europe, though, in Europe, they do have a totally different work life schedule. It's a lot more balanced, and they 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 don't work the hours that we work. They work different type of hours. It's just a lot more flexible, a lot more, you know, you get to go home in the middle of the afternoon for a couple of hours,
Right.
and then go back to work in the evening if you want for a little bit, and then you afterwards you go out and
have a drink somewhere or hang out with your friends. So it's like a totally different life. It's a European lifestyles, and we're always told that America is the best country in the world. But then nobody from America ever goes to another country to see if it is. And then when they do, they just go to the tourist places. So they never get to really see anything anyway.
Well, Linda, you just described exactly what's the norm. See, that's the thing here. So
yeah,
the people here, right? Your average person, the masses, whatever you want to call them, they're actually maintaining the system. They're maintaining their own pain system. Because when you go to a job, let's just say, right? And you don't negotiate, right? And I think that's not even because people go to jobs generally with the attitude, oh God, here I am.
Oh, I hope I get this. Oh, I hope I get this.
Yeah, right. Oh, I'm gonna kiss ass. I'll do anything for you. Oh, yeah, cut off my foot, right? And it's like, they offer somebody a wage. And what do people say? Oh, that's fine. You should say, no, that's not going to work for me. So for me to go and work for your company, I appreciate this, and here's what I'm going to require. Let's
and you have to have confidence in yourself. Right. That's really like most people don't have confidence because it's been like beat out of them.
Let's just say so
programmed out of them.
So Evan, Linda, and me were all applying for a job, right? So we all go for the interview. We're the last 3 candidates, right? Evan goes to the final interview and he says, I'm going to need Fridays off, and I'm going to expect this for a wage, and I want to discuss some of my my terms with you, right? And then Linda goes and then she says, well, this is great. I'm probably, going to need to work 35 hours a week, and I'm okay with the wage, but that's that. And then I come in, I'm like, oh, thank you so much for the job. And they're like, we're going to work 50 hours a week and you're going to make $2 an hour. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, bless you. Right. This is what people do. So you had Linda and Evan who are going to fucking change the world. And then some asshole, floor licking boot shit, whatever the fuck they are, goes in. Oh, I'm an orc. I'm a fucking low life and I'll do anything. That's the problem with our society.
Well, then we don't land the job, obviously, because
because I went in as an asshole slave.
But then our attitude, because more or less, I'm not crapping on anybody, but I kind of said something. I'm not crapping on you. No, I kind of said something. I guess I'd be crapping on myself, along those lines, where I was like, I can make whatever, 103% more than what you're offering right now, but that requires me to work a 17-hour day.
Right.
And I value my time off from paycheck time. And I said this word for word. I value my time off from paycheck time just as much as paycheck time. So I realize I need this, and even more so now. And maybe I'm totally wrong and my head's up my ass, but my time off is probably worth dollar for dollar more than, especially now trying to learn this stuff now outside of work than it is inside work. But I let it step on sometimes, for the Sal interview, I definitely took the day off to make sure everything was straight after on that. But I don't let them interfere, but I for sure value that. And the people that I go to paycheck time with, they don't question me on any of it. And that I tell them if they ask me about anything, which they don't usually, but anybody, hey, I value my time at this. My goal is learning this. This paycheck endeavor is outside of that. My time on both sides of it is there. So you know what? I didn't get the $2 an hour job. Great job. More power to you, Lady Orc. I hope that you the 98 hours a week.
You don't want to work for somebody who undervalues you. You don't want that.
Your average person
You don't want that.
Doesn't
I mean,
seem-
if they're going to undervalue you, or they're going to hire somebody who wants paid $2 an hour, why would you want that job?
because you have a mass of desperation. That's what they fomented.
That's true. I mean, I have to say, just to be clear, I have been in a position, and only a year ago, where I didn't have a job.
Absolutely.
And so I know what it feels like to not have one, and to be scared, and to not know if you're going to be able to pay your rent. I know what that feels like.
Right.
But it didn't make me go with any job that I could get. I didn't go like, I'm going to go to McDonald's and try to get a job there.
Right.
You know, you don't undervalue yourself just because you're in a bad spot,
But
because
most
all
people
it does is put you in a worse spot where you can't even pay your bills because you went for the lowest paying job because you just needed to get a job.
That's
And
reality.
that's what people do.
That's what people do. That's why the world looks like this is what we're talking about. Your average person is doing exactly that. The deep state is laughing. Bosses and companies are laughing. They're like, we got a bunch of idiot slaves here, and they see workers as garbage. You're
absolutely.
Because if you don't want it, 50,000 other bootlickers are lined up for it. Because the problem with this world is that you have masses of people put into extremely desperate situations. And then you have cultures surrounding them that don't think like you just said, Linda. They think like, oh, you got to survive. You got to survive. Anything to survive, you know?
Right.
And none of it makes any logical or analytical sense. You have an entire planet, basically, of low-hanging fruit, of like really, I don't know even how to, it's so depressing.
It is depressing.
I don't know how I don't know what to do with that. That's why I've stepped back. I don't know. Like I said, I don't, we have Rocky
just
Mountain.
Like, logistically wise, like it would be like the same, like which industry are you trying to make an impact in, and or which like life affirming the resource are you trying to provide, and then like really just dig as hard into it as you possibly can. It would be step uno.
Yeah.
If we have even 300 people, I'm like, all right, 3 people can go to each place, and that little Ewok village will have water, power, and whatever, a way to make roofs or something, like efficiently. Like, boom, that's a resource that you can travel around and gather other resources with, and or just off of like knowledge base and or skill. But it takes people being
practical knowledge and practical skill is going to be that's going to be what people want in the future, because that's what we're going to need.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I think Evan made a good point. I think that's what you're going to start to see. People be so, like that young lady I just talked to the other day. People are going to be so turned off by being used as a slave and not being able to survive that they're just going to a lot of people are giving up, because they're like, what's the point? They're going to move. They're going to start to create these alternate societies. They're going to move away, because I always tell people you can change the world tomorrow. If everybody just stayed home, it's so simple. You don't even have to. You don't even have to have balls. You know, I don't expect Charons to have balls. None of them have. Very few do. So all you have to do is tomorrow, everybody stays home for an entire week. See, you have to create leverage against the enemy, right?
Yeah.
So you have to create leverage against the enemy. And I'm not saying everybody who runs a business is a bad person. They're not. They're not. There's a lot of good people out there, and they'd have to do the same thing. So you have to stay home for an entire week, let the entire structure just screech to a halt for an entire week, announce your demands, and you would change society. And this is the biggest problem with Terrans. They do nothing other than shore up their own demise. They do nothing, even if it's as simple as I just mentioned, towards making their lives better. And it's makes you bang your head against the wall, basically. And somebody says you're removing greed. Well, yeah, I think there's a lot. I think greed is, I think some of this, I might be wrong, but I feel, and I'll throw it out there to all you guys, I think a lot of this is actually genetic. I think it's bred into them. I really do.
Yeah. Like the worship gene.
Yep. Venomous, the puppet masters made sure the common people thought they were less. Oh yeah. But that's just an illusion, but you can't. I almost wonder too, and I'll throw this out to everybody. Do you think this lack mentality is part of like an NPC or mind control? Because sometimes I find if I talk to certain people, like my mom, when I'm trying to, like what we've just been saying, like her mind will just wipe blank, and she'll just be like, now she's into all the ET stuff, by the way, but when I talk about this kind of stuff, like her mind, she's like, oh, but people have to have money to survive. Like
well, she's programmed. Yeah.
You
No,
want.
I think it's I think it's an awareness threshold. Personally, like to exist outside of like this big stockpile of gold that I've been putting all this effort into is like definitely not worth the time and effort. Like if I shared with everybody and everybody did that, then none of this would happen. Like, wait, but what about my big stockpile of gold bars that I have? Like, it would be, everybody has an equal one. Like, oh, but mine, I need it to be bigger than everybody's. Like, no, you don't.
Yeah, I think there's one person that in the chat that said that greed would be a hard thing to get rid of in the society.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it is, I feel like it definitely is programmed.
Oh yeah. I mean, to
people,
me,
for sure.
Like my whole life, freedom has been everything. Like if I can't be completely free, I don't want to live.
Yeah.
I can't imagine living a slave, and I would not live a slave ever. I'd rather be dead. I can't imagine that.
I totally agree with you. Like that's the same way I feel. Like I've lived free more than I have lived with money, because I didn't have money. So I'd rather not have money, but be free.
Me too.
Than have a lot of money, and then have all the things that everybody else has, and have to be a slave every day.
But your average person actually, like, they would rather live at all costs.
Yeah.
They would rather they will scrounge to survive. Like
I have to make my car payment.
Yeah.
Like, well, you don't have to make your car payment. You could sell that and get a cheaper car that you could just buy with cash and live a little bit less. You know, maybe not look like everybody else and have all their things.
Yeah.
Just maybe have fewer things. You know?
I think it's part of the mind control.
Yeah.
So Jasmine says it feels to me a lot that if they are not connected to the heart and they're only running by the mind, they are in the program. Oh, well, they are.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Default program is based on survival. Yeah. Like they would rather, you see people all over the world. Maybe that's all they know. So they don't, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like if you have an animal and all, like a fish that's in a bowl, like that's all the fish knows. So it lives in the bowl.
Right.
We never understand that there's rivers and lakes that it can,
I think that's a good point.
Or to add to that metaphor, I'd say never realizing that the bowl is inside of a lake that it can just swim out of and go meet other fish.
Well, it's like the bird cage. Like when the bird cage, they open the door, but they don't leave the cage.
Yep.
You know, because that's basically what it is.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah. So we got our turn out. So wait, Jean says it. Working to get out of that, but regular people need to be awakened or made aware. Turn off their devices. Yeah, it's just, I actually have a book, and I always go back to this book. It's called Weapons of Mass Instruction, and the school systems, because this is the best time to brainwash somebody. When your mind is totally in a plastic state when you're a child. And when you're a child, of course, your entire survival depends upon adults, right? And the children don't have the cognition generally to resist. Some kids resist, but they get punished, right? So this goes back to the late turn of the 19th century. 20th century. 19th. When I can't use the names on here because they probably get pissed off. But actually, they were working at Harvard, and they devised an entire system. And this is actually like, this isn't, I'm not making this up. There's actually documents from them that explain exactly what their goal was. And it was to create what you see in front of you today, which is to use psychology against the children in a reward punishment system. So basically like electric shock system, but more about shame. They're using shame.
Yes, humiliation.
Yep.
Right.
In the schools, this is what the schools were rigged to do. So all of this programming and literal mind manipulation, brainwashing began way back then. You're talking your like great grandfather, mother, grandmother, like that time.
Well,
right?
yeah. Then you stack on recently like the 5G and the Wi-Fi and the smart signal. Absolutely agree.
Well, back then they had what they called dunce caps. I don't know if anybody's familiar with those, but they used to put a dunce cap on a child if they gave the wrong answer,
right,
to humiliate them in front of the entire class.
Right. It's
and
not
a dunce cap, by the way, was shaped like a wizard's hat.
Right.
So isn't that interesting?
Actually implodes like the other side of it. Like if that's false information, I've heard that the dunce cap actually focuses your mind, so you're actually, if you're like whatever dyslexic and you wear a dunce cap, it supposedly straightens it out. So maybe
if you look at the way they're made, if you look at the way they're made, like they look just like a spiral, like it would be like an ether antenna almost.
Yeah. And you know, because kids aren't taught to think, they're taught to be robots.
Right.
And those kids that think outside the box, or those kids that say stuff or try to be a little bit different or try to kind of break, they're the ones that get, in trouble.
Yep. They were the ones.
Yeah.
I remember getting in trouble for not putting a cap on my 5.
Or they learn to hide it, or like blend it in. Like I gotta be camo mode now. Damn it!
And then you'd have gym class in intermittent Lord of the Flies experience. So. Absolutely, I've told so many Rocky Mountain. I've told so many beginners of rabbit holes to watch the Truman Show. Yeah, and get back to me.
Yes.
Yeah, I grew up in a communist country. We would get a slap for a wrong answer. Oh yeah, well they used to do that here in the religious schools would do that. It's not education, it's indoctrination. Oh, yes, that's and we're not even saying that as like something to say. That is literally what they created. That there are papers, they were hidden. So Harvard University, this guy did some research. He was a school teacher in high school, and he's like, he got so pissed off. He's like, this is garbage, right? So he started doing some research. It's John Taylor Gatto. He started doing some research. So he went to Harvard. That's where the papers were that he was looking for. They had him hidden. So eventually he got his hands on him. And when he got what he got is like, this stuff is written. This has been done by Rockefeller and all these other people who are part of the Illuminati and the cabal. See, I think if we had nipped this in the bud in the 50s, if the freaking assholes upstairs actually got their, stop being so fucking pansies, they would have been able to get down here and clean this shit up. It would have been a different story today.
I think it's the 13 family. I think it's the 13 families above like the Rockefellers. And I've heard that the whatever the treaty, they actively like farm humans or whatever, so it's like profitable. So so that's why nothing gets done about it, because they're like, oh geez, look at that.
Hey, yep, we're chattel. We're chattel.
I'm not
the only
say
reason
the name.
we're chattel is because we agree to it. We agree to be just like everything we've been saying ever so far is the fact that the humans on this planet agree to be chattel.
Well, I think what also happened was that whole thing with Eisenhower,
Well, that should have been done before Eisenhower. It should have been dealt with before Eisenhower.
It should have been dealt with before, but then he made that treaty that he was forced to sign, you know, and then really that's when everything started happening.
But
really,
and all of that
really-
was just total nonsense because this was a galactic threat. This was an open galactic threat.
it should have been handled. Yeah, that should have never happened.
The
That should have never
idiots who
happened.
think they're like so smart up there. This is why I quit and why we all quit. Because it's just such, and Will left. Why we all quit was because they're imbeciles. And you had an obvious galactic threat being fomented on this planet that was never dealt with. And now it's a total, well, I mean,
I don't know if I quit, but I went neutral for a while.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
actively
Yeah.
not giving them data.
Yeah. No, I don't argue with fools. That's basically, you know, and they're all brainwashed. They're in a religion. I tell people upstairs they have religions. They're brainwashed people. They have no freaking idea what the hell they're doing because they're all drank the Kool-Aid. They're all smoking dope up there.
Hey, nothing wrong with that every once in a while, but like also non-humans up there. So
Yeah. I mean, they're up there, and you know, it's a typical situation where you have a bunch of people where life is good, right? Like, and that's the reason why I came here was like, yeah, life is good, but it isn't always going to be good if you see, you know, a problem coming at you.
Yeah, we're going to make it their problem if they don't, you know, pay attention. So yeah, wake up there.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen because they're too fucking stupid. So until I think a higher density beings who don't have to follow those idiotic philosophies.
Protocols. Yeah.
Well, there's no protocols. That's bullshit. That's part of the fantasy land. See, this is.
They say they are, though. They say there's protocols.
They had a bunch of these ET fakers. Okay, here's the deal. They came on YouTube and they told a bunch of shit. They're fantasy. This Star Trek. Okay, they're quoting from fucking Star Trek, and all of these thousands of ET, ufology, religion people all joined these people and thought, oh, there's this. There is never, and there never was such shit. Right? These people are reiterating Star Trek to you. And anything that you're being told by any of these, so half of the early ones from the 80s, the little old ladies that are so damn fucking cute, they were being fed shit by the Greys. So I'm not going to name names, but any of the ones.
I know who you mean.
Right. They were being fed gray stuff. They were being fed stuff by the cabal. Everything that is all fucking made up. Everybody thought they were great. No. Then now you have the money grubbers who are like, hey, I can make some money if I pretend I'm an ET contactee. Right. Oh, I was abducted. I was in the SSB. I was tortured by the Dark Fleet. And it's like, no, they fucking weren't. But they're coming on these social media channels and singing songs that we have no proof for. Like, you know, like, and people are buying that shit and saying, oh, well, the Greys, the reptilians are gone. It's like, they're not the problem, dude.
Oh, I'll just say it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get famous. Like, I think, I think there's something up upstairs, like maybe implant too, like maybe connection to folks in the astral, but like, I for sure get the vibe from people if I like watch somebody's pod or if I hear their voice or whatever. If again, I won't name names either, but like if somebody's saying something and they're like, oh, but everything out there is just trying to get you a ham sandwich. All you have to do is be hungry for the ham sandwich. Be like, you know what? Sometimes that's not the case. Like, well, maybe I want a chicken leg. Like that's an option too. Like I know, just maybe bad metaphor, but like that, like insisting that there's only one whatever out there.
Exactly.
I think definitely is not the case.
Of course not. Of course not. Oh, right. I don't. Yeah. I'm pro weed. So the Matrix was a good, the Matrix was a good beginner movie for awakeness. Yeah. There's a show called The Promised Neverland. It's just like, doesn't, but the humans don't make the connection.
I think Star Trek is an option though. Like,
oh yeah,
it is to us. But like, if you have them, like 63% of the people are like, oh, but everything up there is gray, and they're like, damn it, you're just calling in 63% of it for it to be gray. Like the rest of us, like, we'll take the full Skittle rainbow of flavors, please. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
let's not kneecap ourselves.
Right.
Right.
I think the biggest thing that I find is which confuses me about Terrans is that so they all go to a movie, they all go to Star Trek, let's say, or they all go to Star Wars, right? And they're all rooting for the good guys. But in reality, they're all Sith. So when they're watching the movie, they're all into the good guys. But when they go and live their life, they act like the Sith. It's like, why don't you take what you learned from the Jedi, right? And apply that. Now take that in your little squirrel brain, right? And carry that with you. And like I said, I'm not hiding the fact that I hate people. And take your little squirrel brain, take the Jedi knowledge about being, benevolent. That doesn't mean, naive. You can be street smart and still benevolent. And then take that with you and live your life, not like the Sith, but live your life like the Jedi.
That's where the disconnect from like the VR like branch of realities, to throw it back earlier, would be like, oh, I can't actually practice that in reality. That's just that's just storyland that now time to go back to making widgets. Like, no, it's that I think where conversations like this where like, no, you can definitely bleed that line into like, A, you don't need to watch it, and then but B, like, you can embody it as like a lifestyle for sure, I think personally.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You just walk away and say, okay, I'm going to do this now. But they, yeah, it's a minute. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah, don't, well, when, we're a small percentage of the masses, right? We're just a teeny tiny percentage of the masses. And it's how do we, we walk out there and try to shift things, but it's like, now we have to wait until everyone they're not going to, the thing is, it's not even about waiting until they get it, because they're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Well,
No, we're not waiting. We're not waiting.
Yeah, don't wait. Yeah, don't wait.
No waiting.
I mean,
we could try to help people understand it, but we're not going to wait until they catch up. Like, it's just, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Well, I suspect that the bad guys are going to start to try some stuff. I really do. And
I do too. And I feel like they're trying to eliminate a large amounts of people, which is what, somebody was wondering if we're going to be going to war soon. And I feel like that's what they're gearing up for, because they want to eliminate large amounts of people. And that's what they do.
Yeah.
When they want to eliminate people, is they create a war.
Right.
A couple more months of profitability before the invariable,
right?
Like,
they've got to make money first, and then set it up for after the war, how they're going to make their money afterwards, just like they did with COVID and everything else.
Yeah.
They made so much money off of COVID. It was disgusting. But and they make so much off of war too. So that, that's what they're gearing up for. That's what they're going to try to do.
And there'd be no war if no one fought it.
If nobody participated.
But everybody can't wait to be, mind controlled, and like, why? That's one thing I never understood. And I try to explain this to some Terrans and they don't get it. I'm like, just because your leaders or whatever, like, decide to go to war, why are you actually fighting it? Why don't you just be like, no, thanks?
Why are you the one doing it? If they don't like each other, they should challenge each other to a duel, and let it be between those two instead of all the people in the country. But what the heck?
That's the point. Why do all these people?
Why do innocent people have to suffer that have no skin in the game? Nothing. They didn't do anything.
I don't understand that. Why do
Makes
people?
No sense. Never made sense to me.
Yeah, like, you have a military to defend your place.
Oh, right? They make it sound
That's
like you're fighting for your freedom. Like, it's you're fighting for your freedom.
How stupid can you be?
We would be free no matter what. It's them that are fighting.
That's
over
why they
territory and war, not us.
That's why they use drones now. Is I think World War II they discovered that people like, hey, these guys like are not gonna shoot each other. Like, if they were within whatever proximity to each other, they didn't actually, they would miss on purpose. Like, oh, I'm
Right.
not going to
Yeah.
shoot Fred. Like, instead of a robot, like, oh, these are all enemy combatants and they're shot.
Right.
They're all shot. Like,
Yeah.
It's just,
That is why they want drone warfare. That's absolutely why, because they know that there's no human element where they're going to stop and not shoot somebody. Yeah.
yeah.
They identify the target and that's it.
I mean, it's just, it's I say this year is just the beginning of the end. It will not be fast falling for some. I don't know. We'll say that's crazy. I know. Even people trying kind of are more willing to listen to the fluffy, like, oh yeah, well we won't. Yeah, well, good luck to them there. You know, and I understand that. You know, people. You know, we all inside want to hear good stuff. I mean, we all want to believe that there's I don't know, you know, I think there's something inside all of us that, like, wow, there's someone somewhere that wants to help you, I guess, in a way, or like that loves you, and
well, it's us.
you know,
It's us, I would say. Like, it's us in outside time space trying to help us by helping ourselves help others, I think would be the
I agree.
argument to it.
Yeah. Well, Rocky Mountain was saying it's why people follow these, you know, fluff people, you know.
Well, it's like also what the other point I wanted to say that was, like, it's kind of what you speak in, not to like make it okay to fluff, but like acknowledge that there is definitely, somebody made the comment, there's spiritual war, like, for sure, like, acknowledge that that's out there, but like try to play both sides of it, like, oh, VR headset reality, you're doing good, keep up that extra good definition, and then like, oh, nature team, way to go, like, your new stream model is great, like, and then try to have a foot in both things, like, you're gonna get ripped away eventually by that.
I mean, I also want to say here, I'm not trying to manifest war by saying that's what they're trying to do, is all I'm saying. I'm not saying that that's going to happen and that's what I want. That's absolutely not what I want. And I don't consent to it. I do not consent. So just to be clear.
Well, that's how you can, right. I'm
not going to give them that power. I'm not giving them that power.
No, but you know, they are going to try stuff, and
but I am acknowledging that they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what they're doing. That's what they're trying. Yep.
It's like if you just prepare for possible, you know, serious
shit going down.
You know, that doesn't mean you're in fear. That just means you're being prudent, right? It's like, you know, if you know there's going to be a snowstorm and you don't have a shovel, it's prudent to go get a shovel. It doesn't mean you're afraid of the snow.
Well, I put it this way: like in Florida, it's hurricane season every summer.
Right.
You just stock up just in case. We didn't have a hurricane this year, but we had 2 last year. So, you know, it's good to always have it just in case. It doesn't mean that there's going to be one, but it's good to have the stuff just in case.
Right. Absolutely. You know, But the thing is, if you look at a lot of those, you know, oh, all the ETs love you and they're going to come to save you and they blah, blah, whatever. Those people, they're all, you know, they're asking you everything they put out there is, and there's quite a few of them like that. They're asking you, they dictate to you. They sit there in front of the YouTube and they dictate to you about all the stuff the Alliance is doing, all the stuff the ET are doing. Just sit back and all of your heroes will fix it for you. That's your red flag, because they're asking you to, one, you're not playing a role. Stuff's being done over your head. You don't have any say in it. And they're not actually engaging you and saying, you know, they're not saying, okay, believe it. They're just making you become passive.
Right.
And, you know, in childlike, it's a neotenization. That's actually what you'll notice. There's a neotenization. And they'll often blame you, you know, oh, you just got to ascend. You just got to drink the Kool-Aid. You just got to, you know, and that's just red flag stuff right there.
Mm-hmm.
So
agree.
Totally agree.
See, we have. Oh, yeah. I don't think their war plans are working. I'm kind of on the same page of Radislav here, and they probably don't understand why. Yet, you know, I'm getting that sensation that right now the deep state's like, you know, throw a virus at them, throw a spaceship at them, throw a, you know, it's like, I'm kind of getting that. They're kind of tripping over their own feet. There are people that need help and we need to be the heroes. I agree with Willow. I think sometimes you need help. Sometimes you need help. And I think denying help for any being that needs help makes you, well, an asshole, frankly. And, you know, time to get our pitch for. Yeah, I have a pitch for it. Tim, yeah, I haven't heard anything good in 20 years. There, thank you. If you challenge. Yeah. Yeah, that whole nonsense of no one's gonna help you is bullshit. You know, it's I have a chicken rescue. I help chickens. In fact, we just got a chicken in the other day. You know, it's like when you that's to me that's the common denominator. You know, that's the thing that impresses me. When you see someone who needs help,
yeah,
you help them. You don't ask questions. You don't worry. But if you're like but if you're the kind that's like, you don't help, you make up some weird philosophy as to why you shouldn't help someone else.
Yeah.
I don't get that. And that's what rubs me the wrong way. Like, oh, well, they won't help you until you clean up your act, or they won't help you until you know, change your hair color. They won't help you until you ascend. They won't help you until you woo woo la la into, you know, with your tambourines. You know, that's like, you don't ask questions. You don't judge. You don't put demands on someone that needs help. You know, oh, George just broke his leg. I'd help him if he wasn't wearing white pants and it's after Labor Day. It's like, that's the way they think upstairs. They're fucking morons. It's like, chickens, them, some of these, oh, chickens are gods. Yeah. Oh, no, Tim's right. No, it isn't about manifesting war. If you just mention what they're doing, it's not about manifesting, you know. Yeah, that's, you know. You know, here's my thing about those people who talk about manifestation. Like, and the law of attraction people who have all their channels and they're all, oh, I'm going to show you how to manifest. It's like, if you were like a manifesting guru, wouldn't you just manifest your ideal life? Like, why would you be scrounging on YouTube for people to give you money to learn how to manifest? Because couldn't you just manifest like a private island or something? You know, it's like,
yeah,
like,
or
that's always like,
or manifest yourself off the planet.
Exactly. So that's why I always tell people to watch out for gurus. They don't make any sense to me. Like if you're such a manifestation amazing person, like, you wouldn't be like taking money from people to learn how to manifest, because you wouldn't need to do that, would you?
I think what he was talking about manifesting war was because I was saying I'm not trying to manifest war, but what I meant was basically is I'm not trying to feed their energy. I'm not trying to give them any loosh. It's basically what I'm saying.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what they're trying to. That's part of it. Is it? So what they do is they'll throw something out there, right? Oh, there's a new virus, and everybody goes, "Oh, I'm so scared! I'm so scared." That's what they want, you know. But it's actually not working because they've been thrown out a bunch of weird ass shit. And people are like, fuck you.
Yeah.
So it's actually
people, it's actually now working against them, because now people have figured it out. You know, they're starting to figure it out. Like, oh yeah. That last thing, the COVID really messed them up, because people
that back. Yeah. Oh, because now if you go to those, my mom likes different things at these pharmacy places, right? I never go in there, but she likes to go in, so I have to help. And it's like, oh my God, you should see them. They're going crazy. Free vaccines, free vaccine. There's t-shirts. They have t-shirts. Get the flu vaccine, get the flu vaccine, free vaccine. Wow. Oh my God, they're going crazy. They're
trying so hard to get people to do this. Yeah.
It's free. Here, poison yourself. Poison's free. How can you say no?
Free poison.
Take it. You know, it's like, see. Oh, Tim said, you know, the timeline can aid in it. There we go. Thank you, also. Right. World War III will be fought with love, not weapons. That's what. Yep. Yeah, Rocky. Yep, it backfired. Yeah. Oh, yeah. People are not drinking the Kool-Aid anymore. You still have a small percentage, but the majority, no.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, my mother. Well, she's in her 90s. She goes to I don't know why she goes to this quack, but anyway, she goes to a quack, and he's always trying to stick her with something.
I believe it.
Don't. I said, you got do whatever you want, but I said, so she don't. But oh yeah, totally. I'm like, so if this quack is trying to kill you, and this quack is trying to get you to put poison in your body, like, what benefit are they?
Yeah.
I was like, here,
permanent customer for life. Oh,
yeah,
no, you can't say that.
Yeah, it's like if you go to somebody like because you have a problem and they give you a cup of poison, it's like, okay, yeah, I don't know, whatever.
I personally, if I got to a certain age, I would start questioning everything they give me because they probably just want to kill me off.
Right.
You know, like.
That's why I use the word quack so the AI won't find it and be like, oh, you can't. Yeah, fuck you. Well, I think, I think COVID was like maybe a mass exposure to a virus that perhaps the aliens might carry, just a theory. Well, it wasn't. So most of the, I forget you do that. So the stuff that humans on this planet get are created. Some of it, a lot of it is extraterrestrial. Well, actually, all of it is extraterrestrial technology. And it's like, so people on other planets don't get anything like that because on this planet, they do that. They create things to wipe y'all out, keep you sick.
Yes. Poisons, toxins, yeah,
and literal, like, biologics.
Well, the other point to that is like even from like a baseline factor, like a filter of and I'm not judging anybody of the one way or the other, like, because it still goes on now. Like, are you willing to trust Pfizer's word, for example, against what your immune system would do? Like, cool, you are. Well, guess what? Welcome to doing that for the rest of your life. Like, customer for life. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not saying anybody is right or wrong.
No,
I'm just saying, like, wow, that's. It seems like a fraction of society was tilted to an awareness of like, what's the best interest at the core of this? Like, oh gosh.
Yeah. Well, that all goes back to the petroleum industry. Actually, all of the big P is all stemmed from the it was all done on. It was all completely orchestrated, and it was based on the petroleum industry, and it was a way of like getting profit. I have to be careful. Getting profits by selling stuff they make from the petroleum industry.
Right.
And that's the entire foundation of the big P and other quackery. The big quack that came out, you can trace it. It goes back to the early part of the 1920s, 30s, 40s when it started to. And you can trace it through the sugar industry as well.
Yes.
They used to try to sell, if you just go back in history and look at the ads and stuff, that they used to try to sell sugar to kids and stuff, like, feed your kid a Sprite and all that, for breakfast. And, the same thing goes. The same thing goes for all the where's this? When you're done during the day and you brush your things, the mouth stones. When you brush your mouth stones, all that is bad.
Yes. The stuff that you use to brush those mouth stones.
I actually had one of the cleaner people that, when you go and sometimes they clean your, So she actually told me that she agreed with me 100% because they want to know what I use. Because what I use, like, I don't even need to go to the dentist. There's no
right.
But she wanted to use the same stuff because I don't have any buildup on my teeth because I don't use. So
I don't either.
It pulled down. Yeah, that pulled down Rob's channel. So
Oh,
the that you do with your stuff that you buy from the stores is no
yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah.
My mom switched to this. Everybody. So the hygienist there that does she's like, holy shit, what are you using? And she says, she's totally on board with me, 100% conspiracy theorist all the way. She's like, the stuff that they use here to polish your teeth has got sugar in it.
Ah, yeah.
So the stuff that you buy to do this with actually does stuff to your, part of it, this goes back to the extraterrestrials, nutrition. So all of the stuff with your milestones, and them having problems because they never should have problems. But the reason that people have problems with their milestones is because of nutrition.
Oh, yeah. And the S word.
And the and the stuff that you put on your milestones.
Yeah.
What you use to clean your milestones actually causes all the problems that you have with your.
Oh, I agree. That's the whole thing. What do you use? What do you use? I'm curious. You can't tell? I'll tell you what I use.
No, just put in the chat.
Okay, I won't tell you. I'll tell you what I use.
Yep.
I'll put it in the chat.
In the chat because they took Rob down.
Okay, I'll tell you what I put.
So folks are putting it in the chat. Yep.
I use this.
Yep.
I put it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm using.
There you go.
Aha! See, everybody knows. This is awesome.
Doing it.
The Hammond armor, is that what you use?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
when I make a cake, I love using baking soda.
Yeah, I like to also.
When you bake a cake, also coconut oil is keeps a nice moist cake.
Right. That and yes. Mm-hmm. Definitely. The white powdery stuff is very good as well.
Yes. Oh, Tom's was bought out by Deep State, by the way. Just so you know.
Oh, yeah, I don't use that.
Yeah,
I do not use that.
Yeah,
no, I never did. I remember trying it once and I said, there's something weird about this. I don't know what it is.
They were bought out. The original guy was Rockstar, but then he got screwed over by this lady. And then they were recently bought out by Deep State companies. Yeah.
Wow. No, I didn't know that.
I use this. I'm gonna put it in here.
I can't.
Oops. Yeah. It's Ayurvedic stuff that they do.
Yeah, that's the stuff that John Juster just said in the chat. That's
Bob's Milk.
The best. That's the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Skirting the DS, skirting the bots. So they run all these shows through AI.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Afterwards, even if it's live, they do.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
All of Rob's are live, and they took them down like, yeah. Well, they used to take down because it was many years ago. They don't take it down anymore, but they took down Louise's channel because Louise was talking to Shola, and she was giving intel that Shola was giving her about what was happening on this planet politically.
Yeah.
And they took her channel down completely, and they said that she was bullying someone.
What?
Right. She was like, "What?" And she's like, "What?" Because
that's what I mean.
Yeah, because they stopped her from putting this stuff that just so she had to stop doing all the ET stuff because they would just every time she did, boom, they'd come and get her.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by their rules. They make up these really crazy rules that have nothing to do with anything you're talking about, and they claim that you did that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Is pretty nice like the AI? Yeah. Do you mix the ingredients together in the recipe, Linda? Linda, when you make your cakes, do you mix the ingredients together in the recipe?
Oh, yes.
The baking soda and the coconut oil? Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can, if you don't want to mix them together and you want to just use one first and then the other, that's fine too. But I do tend to mix them together to make the cake.
You know, I guess we're running towards the end here, so I'm just going to throw out one last question before we call it quits for this evening. But
Yes, I'm looking for my water.
this was
Oh,
mine and my water. So guys in the chat and all y'all that are sitting here today, do you think that we will ever see the exotic tech?
Cheers, y'all.
Yeah. Oh, I'll go jump first. Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead. Everybody
Absolutely.
everybody's
I'm down.
cool.
I think we do already see it, like first, like to a degree, like the Gary Nolan whatever chromosome, where certain individuals can see craft, certain can't, and then I think generally broader stroke would be like, I think just the openness to like people, like where like maybe from conversations like this, maybe other sources, but like people just open to like, all right, so I'm gonna go to the fair, and then growing up alien's gonna have a booth there with a med bed, water, that makes a device that makes water out of just nothing, out of the air, and then just a little permanent bifilar coil that just runs off of like nothing. Basically, it was what it looks like. Like, I think the openness to that, I think, is way more above and or spreading. Like, never mind the fact that people are like, I could probably figure this out for myself. Like, like, let's get this.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
And then take it home and reverse engineer it and figure it out how to make it yourself.
Tim says, I've already seen the high tech. I'm waiting for everyone else to catch up. Yeah, and then that's what we're saying. Do you think we'll ever like see it? Like,
we won't see it from the government. They're not going to.
I don't mean I'm not
release it.
I'm just saying. Do you think it will ever come out from wherever?
I think personally, the next 5 years, like, to whatever extent the people that are like down to see it, that are maybe willing to share it or whatever, will probably see something like either land or be invited to whatever the expo in their town of like cool stuff. They're like, I think maybe 5 years is even too long, but like, I personally think it's pretty close.
Yeah.
I do too.
Well,
I'd say within maybe the next 2 years. Yeah.
I mean, you just yeah.
Go ahead.
If you look, I mean, every once in a while I'll show Evan, you'll catch some, and Renata catches some. Whoever catches them, I put them on. Like, they're all over the place. They're everywhere. Like, so when are you gonna frickin', bring it down? It's just like, come on, folks.
Well, there's all different types of exotic tech too, so you have to.
Well, I mean, anything.
Specify on what you're talking about, but like the free.
Any of it? Do you think we'll see any of it?
Yeah, I do. I think so. I think that some of it is already out there, like being used in like people are making little inventions and making them for themselves, or there's elites that are using some of it because they have the money to buy it, So that's already there, but for the average person,
right,
I'd say it will be out there in probably some kind of little weird invention form. You know what I mean? Like it'll be part of some other tech that they don't realize that's what it is.
Right.
Or a limited availability to where it's like the lamb or the dam is breaking, where like right now supposedly today you can order a hover bike which has a 40-mile range and 100 miles an hour. There's a car that I believe, and I'm not trying to jinx anybody or misspeak, but I believe he's driving from South Africa
Oh
to
yeah.
Egypt nonstop. There's a bike that guy makes that's the same deal. You never have to plug it in. You can like
Yes.
run a fridge from it.
Yep.
So it's like
Yep.
it's here to an extent, but like if we tried to buy that, we might run into static. But if we were sneaky enough, we might be able to get a car or a bike here that ran on free energy or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah. I know that guy. I don't know why they're not killing that guy. That seems weird to me.
That's what I
It
mean.
does.
The dam is breaking, so like there's so many things like that's like the low. I think dude's raising the bar, like the
Yeah.
low level. Like they have like whatever compact fusion reactor the size of this that can power the whole city.
Oh
They're like,
yeah.
all right, dude has that car. Like, cool. Let's see how many people buy into it. Like,
As long
maybe
as he's not competing with Elon Musk, I think he's fine. You know what I mean?
It's not-
If he were
I-
trying to, if he had that kind of money that he could compete with him, then it would be a different situation.
I think the scene with him is you have to buy a car, send it to him, and pay for him to mod it, and then pay for it to get sent back to you, which is totally different business model and like requires a
Yes.
whole level of
Right.
moving parts and trust.
It's
but
not a
not
factory.
Tesla.
It's not like he's got a car factory that he's churning these out.
Right.
That
Right.
they feel like they've got to, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
I
sense.
can't remember the guy's name, but I think he's out of South Africa.
He's out of the
Yeah, you're
we-
right. And I can't remember it either because it's a really long name, if I remember correctly.
I posted on one of these videos. I'll post it.
I posted it on Facebook too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't remember his
talked
name.
about it before converting. So John has convert an alternator with a handful of magnets. It will power a motor. There you go. He made a mini helicopter. Yes, he did. Yeah. Did he put the patent open? His patent. I don't know if his patent was open source or not. I have to look that up. I don't know.
I
I
never
don't
got
think
my
so, 'cause
hoverboard.
I don't think it's open source because it had something in it where if he tried to futz with it, it would short out the proprietary function.
I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll see. Yeah, he put in a dead switch if they try to back engineer. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I remember that.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, as I always say, time's going to tell. Whatever happens in the future, we're going to find out.
Yeah.
It's,
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Here to keep moving the bar, hopefully. I'm grateful.
What else? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I think it's happening. It's escalating for sure. It wasn't supposed to be this fast, and it's happening faster. So good job.
Yeah.
We're
I think. Yeah. It's There you go. Here we are, and we'll see what happens. That's all I can do, right? So, well, thank you, Evan and Linda, and all of our guests who joined tonight. And it's always hard to do live streams because not everybody can join. People from different parts of the world, and people with all of our crazy schedules. So, but we were able to get a good group together to have a wee bit of a chit chat. So yeah, that's a win-win. And like I try to make this different from others where we're not dictating to you guys. We try to just kind of shoot the breeze and share our experiences. And yeah, I mean it is what it is, right? Oh, Daryl, yeah, I believe in Daryl James. I talked to Daryl, where he says we need to overcome this with ET guidance because it will be forever etched into our DNA to never allow another cabal to. Oh, my, please. I'm so sick of cabal stuff. Oh my God, so great. Yeah, I did talk to Daryl. Nice guy. A couple times we chatted, trying to get him on the show again, but now he's probably pretty busy. But once you go on Michael Salla, your life is a shit show. I couldn't handle that. I was. I don't want that, and I had no idea. And Linda, you're funny. You're like, how did you not know? I don't. I live in the bush.
I knew. That's why I didn't want to do it. That's why I was like, there's no way I'm doing that. I don't want to. Yeah.
Like I'm
not putting myself out there that much.
I never go further than half an hour from home. Right? I don't know anything.
Dave was on a long time ago, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
Full times.
Like 2 years ago. About 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe not a long time ago.
That's how I found it. Yeah. Best place. Or my text is blowing up. I wonder why. So I'll find. What the heck? Tech people are texting me. Yeah, that's all we can do is just walk
Reach out,
around,
people.
keep spreading. Yeah, that's all we can do, And on Facebook, where grab your soul, like Zachar told me, and I fought with Louise and Zachar many times about, I don't want to do that. I hate social media, and it's like he says use it against them, and then that kind of the violence aspect of that, appealed to me. Oh, use
the rebel,
yeah,
the rebel aspect, yeah.
Yes, I'm like, maybe. So, you use on your social media, just blast it with all this tinfoil hat shit and shove it. The more you shove it down people's throats, the more they start to kind of.
Well, even if you go with the flow method on it, if you take it 2 steps down the road from on the algorithm manipulation and or go with it, like if we each as individuals had like a flex that we could subvert it and or like you put our feed out into people's that were willing to hear it versus like whatever algorithm that's saying like, oh, this needs to go to nobody. Like I think that aspect is in the works also, personally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. And with that, I'm actually going to, in the descriptions, I'm going to put up potentials of Linda's channel, which all y'all are familiar with. So you can go on there and subscribe. Linda's been rocking out some really cool, like esoteric, physicsy kind of things, but nice. And Evan has been rocking out some cool laser crap, as well as his new series, which I like very much on that. Hold That Toll.
Oh, yes.
So,
thank you.
That is rock, man. Hold that off. That's awesome. So the Ancient Pathways, I'll put Evan's link there. He has a great interview with several people. Like I said, it's his new series of interviews. They're really awesome. He's got Sal Pais on there. I mean, how you nail? I mean, that's like, no. You got to see that one if you haven't seen it. So when people tell you, like some of these politicians, that we never reverse engineered craft, that like, please. So yeah. Sal Pais is your man, and we did that a long time ago. The Germans did that. I mean, the Nazis did that. So that's such bullshit. But anyway, awesome. Thank you guys for coming on the show, and thank all of our friends for joining. And as always, you guys can contact me, the folks in the chat, and we can have you on as well as share your experiences with tech, ET, exotic tech, or with your contact experiences, SSP stuff, MyLab, whatever you've been in. Definitely, we want you on the show. I want mostly regular people telling their stories. I don't want, serial ET contactees on my show. Really, I'm not no judgment, and certainly not, saying they can't come on. But I'd rather have, people that aren't that, because I think that's where it's at. Frankly, the people who have
I might qualify as that technically. I don't know, serial.
Oh, you come on.
Remember all the time.
You come on. You're part of the P team, but new people. We want new folks who feel like when it's time for them and to come on, that we can get you on the schedule. So yeah, and we can get you on other shows too, right? So
100%. Oh, absolutely grateful.
I got Lorraine on because Lorraine wrote a book, and Lorraine had a similar story to me. We had her on Potentials, and we also had her on here. But Lorraine's going to be on Michael in October, so I'll put it. Yeah. Well,
awesome.
I mean, she's great. She's the real deal. She's the real deal.
Yes.
Yes. That is a contactee, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad that's. Hopefully, we'll get her to sell. She wrote her book to come forward and to share her story, and she's been blacklisted, seriously blacklisted, and yeah, I mean, people like Lorraine who are the real deal. Those are the ones we want to see stepping forward and getting help and to overcome all this, the blacklisting, the targeting that we all experience. So cool beans, and well, as Frank Chili always says, right? This is from.
See you upstairs.
See you upstairs. See you guys.
See you later.
Ciao. For now.
See you upstairs. Bye.
See you upstairs.